Thanks.
So good evening, everyone. We want to thank you all for coming to our program again tonight. I am Nurse and we have Dr. Khan, who is doing a lot of the background work these days. Last week, we dealt with estrogen, which is one of the main hormones that affects women during this transitional time, this menopausal transition that we go through. What I would like that we do, though, is that we get a pen or piece of and a book or scrapbook or pen and paper and take notes. So it is important that you do that so you can make links, because remember, this is an educational process, and it is a way of helping us to deal with all the problems, and so it could be problematic if we do not know how to deal with it. So it is a way that we are educating ourselves how to deal with the challenges, I would say, during this transitional time. So I am excited to share the insight about one of the most important hormones that are often doesn't get enough attention, which is progesterone. Last week we dealt with estrogen and how it affects us women during this transitional stage. Tonight we're going to explore progesterone, which is another main hormone that affects us during this menopausal transition, particularly during menopause. And I'll provide practical and natural strategies to help us to maintain hormonal balance and help us to feel the best we can feel during this transition. So, first, we'll look at what progesterone is and why it plays such an essential role in the body. Then we'll dive into the effects of low progesterone levels, especially during the menopausal period, and how they can impact our overall health as women while we are going through this transition. Then we'll review the common symptoms of low progesterone so that we can all have a better understanding of the signs our bodies are giving to us. Then next, we'll talk about the organs most affected by low progesterone levels and how they interact with and how interaction is done with this critical hormone. And then finally, I'll share 10 practical natural ways to support your and mine progesterone levels during menopause and afterwards as well. These are just strategies you can start implementing right away to make us feel, it can make you feel more energized at this time. So let's look at, so my goal definitely is to make us feel more empowered and ready to take the next steps during this time. So let's look at a definition and the role that progesterone plays and why it is so important. Progesterone is a key reproductive hormone produced mainly by the ovaries. It plays a critical role in regulating a woman's menstrual cycle, supporting pregnancy, and maintaining overall hormonal balance. Each month during the menstrual cycle, that is during our reproductive years, progesterone is produced after ovulation has taken place. Its primary job during this phase is to prepare the uterus for a potential pregnancy, and it does this by thickening the uterine lining of the uterus. So if pregnancy doesn't occur at this point in time or at some point in time, progesterone levels drop and the cycle begins all over again. Now, in pregnancy, progesterone production increases significantly. Just it increases significantly, and it can cause some uncomfortable symptoms. So what it does, it helps to support the developing fetus, and it does that by maintaining a healthy uterine environment. Now, beyond reproduction, progesterone plays an essential role in other areas of the body. It helps to regulate mood, hence the reason why we become so moody during this transitional time when the levels are not regular, or when it drops, when progesterone drops, it supports a restful sleep. Another reason why we cannot sleep well, because of the low levels of progesterone at this time. It protects bone density, and we as women are known, and I'm sure some of us have an aunt that, or relative, a female relative around that post-menopausal age group that you might know had problems with bones, somebody probably had having osteoporosis, somebody fell, know someone that fell and and broke their hip, spinal problems, things like that, and even affects the skin by promoting elasticity and also hydration. So ladies, we know at this point in time that, when you look back now at some of our older female relatives, because it's not something that is really discussed, we realize that these things were happening around us, and we weren't aware that it was, at that point in time when we were younger, it was all because of these important hormones. So as women approach menopause, the body undergoes significant hormonal changes. One of the most notable change is the decline in estrogen and progesterone levels. This happens because ovulation becomes less frequent and eventually stops altogether, which means the ovaries produce less and less progesterone over time. By the time menopause is reached, which is defined as, we know it's 12 consecutive months without having a menstrual cycle, progesterone levels are at their lowest. And this natural decline in progesterone can disrupt our delicate hormonal balance between progesterone and estrogen, leading to what is known as estrogen dominance. Now, this imbalance can cause a range of physical and emotional symptoms that many women experience during menopause, such as mood swings, sleep disturbances, hot flashes, night sweats, which are hot flashes that take place during the night. So hormonal imbalances here. Let's go through, let's go to that now. Any questions you can put in during this little time I have a little space, we can put in a question or two. If you all don't understand as we go along, it would be very welcoming at this time, right? So that we can discuss these things openly so that we can understand what our bodies are dealing with. So we'll look at the impact it has on us at this time. So low estrogen levels can disrupt, as I was saying, the balance of hormones in a woman's body, particularly the balance between progesterone and estrogen. One of the first areas affected by this imbalance is mood. Progesterone has a calming effect on the brain because it influences GABA. Now, GABA is a neurotransmitter that promotes relaxation and reduces anxiety. Now, when progesterone levels are low, many women experience mood swings, increased anxiety, and even symptoms of depression. And somebody had asked me some time ago if that person was having problems with depression prior to going through menopause, would it exacerbate? And yes, a lot of problems like mental issues that women deal with on a basis and before we go through this transition, it can exacerbate it, yes. Another area impacted is sleep. Progesterone helps to regulate sleep cycles, so a decline can lead to insomnia or restless nights, which can compound feelings of fatigue and irritability. Metabolism. Metabolism plays metabolism goes really haywire this time, and it is affected due to the low progesterone level. Low progesterone can cause the body to retain more water, so ladies, that bloated feeling, and also it can slow down fat metabolism, and also how the proportion of where fat is distributed in our bodies. So we would find that I never had this large tummy, and because of that distribution as well, we would find that we're putting on a lot of fat in the tummy area, making it more challenging to maintain a healthy weight. And these challenges often make us women feel very, very, very self-conscious, and can be very, very, very discouraging, especially when we want to lose weight. So this hormonal, so it can cause really play with our hormones. So hormonal imbalance. Low progesterone levels can disrupt the delicate balance of hormones in a woman's body, particularly the balance between progesterone and estrogen. Remember, it's a relationship. So when progesterone levels drop, estrogen can become the dominant of the two. Even if estrogen levels are relatively stable, the condition is known as estrogen dominance. So let us see how it can impact our bone health. Just a minute. Increased risk of osteoporosis at this time. Progesterone is essential for maintaining strong bones. It stimulates bone building cells called osteoblasts, which are responsible for replacing old damaged bone tissue. When progesterone levels decline, especially during menopause, this process slows down, which increases the risk of osteoporosis and fractures. The impact on cardiovascular health. Progesterone also plays a role in our heart health. It helps regulate blood vessels and its functions, and it also helps to regulate blood pressure. Women, rates of women getting heart attacks at this time, particularly post-menopausal period, outshadows the men. So a lot of women, you would hear some women at this age getting heart attacks more prevalent at this time. So protecting against cardiovascular issues here is important. So when progesterone levels drop, women may face an increased risk of hypertension, heart disease, and other cardiovascular problems. This is especially important to monitor after the menopausal transition has passed, which is the postmenopausal transition after you haven't seen the period for the 12 months consecutively. These risks that I just spoke about becomes much higher, and it becomes even more prevalent as we increase with age. Estrogen's role in weight gain and bloating. Low estrogen levels can lead to weight gain, particularly around the abdomen, due to its role in regulating storage at this time. So, fat stored around the tummy due to water retainment, which results in both bloating and that feeling of heaviness. These changes can be frustrating, and by understanding these hormonal changes, it is the first step in addressing these issues. So when progesterone levels drop, especially as women approach or go through menopause, the body often sends out clear signals. These symptoms can affect nearly every aspect of our life, our physical health, emotional well-being, and even our relationships with our partner. So let's take a closer look at the physical, emotional, and sexual, as well as reproductive symptoms at this time. Physical symptoms. So let's look at irregular or absent periods, which starts even before menopause. This is one of the earliest signs of declining estrogen levels, particularly during perimenopause. It is a time where the periods are very irregular. Progesterone is responsible for regulating that timely monthly cycle. Without enough of it, cycles can become very erratic or even stop altogether. And some women also are noted to have sometimes 2 cycles within the same month. Some women also voiced also that they have shorter periods, and some women extended periods. So it can really wreak havoc at this time. Hot flashes and night sweats. These are hallmark symptoms of menopause driven by hormonal fluctuations, including low progesterone. Women may experience sudden waves of heat, excessive sweating, especially at night, disrupting sleep and general daily comfort. Fatigue, insomnia, headache, all of these are physical symptoms that accompany this decrease at this time. So, progesterone has a calming effect on the brain, promoting a restful sleep. Low levels can lead to difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. Many times, I can talk about my experience. Many times during the course of the night, I would get up to use the bathroom and cannot go back to sleep. Cannot, no matter what I do, I go on the phone, I try reading, just can't go back to sleep. So that is one of the symptoms, the physical symptoms of low progesterone levels. Sometimes you fall asleep and you're not staying asleep. You wake up very early in the morning and you get problems going back to sleep, leaving you feeling very tired and drained throughout the day. Hence, I think that would be another reason why a lot of us are so grumpy at this time too, because we're not sleeping well. And then we have hormonal changes can trigger headaches or migraines, especially around the time of when we are having those hormonal dips. Emotional symptoms. Now let's look at the emotional effects of low progesterone level. We are looking at anxiety. Anxiety. Progesterone works to calm the brain by interacting with GABA, which is the neurotransmitter we spoke about earlier, which promotes relaxation. When progesterone is low, women often report feeling very anxious and on the edge, getting angry for sometimes somebody make a little joke, with you, and you just get upset for no particular reason. Sometimes somebody watching you a certain way and you're thinking all kind of thing in your mind. You're just anxious and, on the edge. Then there is depression. The hormonal imbalances can also disrupt mood regulation, leading to feelings of sadness or depression. So sometimes you probably might break out crying for but people see no particular reason why you're getting so emotional, why you're so emotional, right? So these emotions can feel overwhelming and are often accompanied by physical fatigue. I don't know if anyone can relate with me at this point in time to these feelings. So let's look at the sexual and reproductive symptoms of low progesterone. One of the things we experience as women uh, at this time is having a decreased libido, which will be known as which is a decrease in your sex drive. So many women notice a decline in sexual desire as progesterone levels drop. This is often tied to the hormone's role in maintaining energy and regulating mood, both of which affects your sexual interest. Now, low progesterone also contributes to vaginal dryness, which is a big issue at this time. Low progesterone contributes to the thinning vaginal lining. I don't know those of us who remembered when we spoke about that last week when with decreased estrogen levels also contributes to that. And what it does, it makes a simple procedure like a pap smear very uncomfortable because that lining is thin and then the vagina is dry. And if that speculum is not properly well lubricated, it can cause bleeding. So it can be very uncomfortable at this time. So it is many times, yeah, as a healthcare provider, I take my time, extra care. And I go to and fro with my patient. It's just gentle enough. And I try my best to make my patients very comfortable at this time. I put extra lubrication in terms of the gel that I use to help at this time as well. So that is because of the vaginal lining, which reduces natural and the natural lubrication that we lost at this time. This can lead to discomfort or pain during intercourse, which is another um, factor that can affect your low desire in having intercourse, which can lead to further impact intimacy and confidence. These symptoms are not just physical, they often carry an emotional weight with them as well and can affect a woman's self-esteem and connection with her partner. So many times I tell ladies, sometimes the men, they don't even know what's going on with us because sometimes you're feeling ashamed to let them into this part of our transition. But it is important here because in many cases, we did a study some time ago, and in many of these cases, when we don't talk, our partners would feel as if we are pushing them off and we are not interested. And sometimes that interest can go to others. And that is something we don't want. So it is important at this time that you really get your partner involved and explain to him what is going on with you so that you and him, you can find mutual grounds. You can come together in dealing with the issues together by educating yourself. And that information can mean a world of difference with your partner instead of you just keeping all these changes to yourself. So understanding these symptoms is key to recognizing how progesterone affects not just your reproductive system, but your entire body. If any of these symptoms sound familiar, it's important to know that they are not just part of getting older, they are signs of a hormonal shift that can be addressed. In the next section, we'll explore how low progesterone impacts specific organs in the body, so giving you a deeper understanding of the role of overall health. Organs affected by low progesterone levels. Low progesterone doesn't just affect general symptoms, it directly affects key organs in our bodies. And understanding how specific organs respond to low progesterone levels help us see why this hormone is so essential in our overall health. Let us here look at 4 areas of the body that are particularly impacted, which are the reproductive system, the brain, bones, skin, and hair. So let's go. We're looking now at the uterus and the ovaries. Progesterone plays a vital role in the uterus by maintaining the health of the endometrial lining of the uterus. Without enough progesterone, the uterine lining may become too thick, leading to irregular or heavy menstrual bleeding during the perimenopausal period. So those of us experiencing any symptoms like this is the reason why decreased progesterone levels. In postmenopausal period, the imbalance can increase the risk of endometrial hyperplasia, which is an overproduction of the endometrial tissue and other complications. At this time, some women too may experience bleeding. Heavy bleeding here can be exacerbated with problems like issues like fibroids, making it compounded here. What goes on with our ovaries? Progesterone is produced by the ovaries after ovulation. So after that egg has passed, it's not fertilized, and we shed the lining, which is the period. As ovulation becomes less frequent during perimenopause, progesterone levels naturally decline. This can lead to hormonal imbalances affecting not just fertility, but also our overall reproductive health. So in short, the reproductive system is one of the first areas that signals something is going on with us, often through irregular cycles or changes in our menstrual flow. Let's go now to the brain. What goes on with the brain at this time? Now we have a good idea what goes on, but let us just reinforcing what goes on with the brain. Next, the brain, where progesterone has a significant influence on mood and cognitive function. So progesterone interacts with the central nervous system by binding to receptors in the brain. One of its key roles is to stimulate the production of GABA, which is the neurotransmitter that I've been talking about as we started this progesterone talk, that promotes relaxation and calmness. Now, when progesterone levels drop, this calming effect diminishes, leading to symptoms such as anxiety, irritability, and even depression. Many women also report difficulty concentrating, and experiencing brain fog. And we know that popular brain fog, right? During menopause, which can be tied to hormonal changes done by having low progesterone levels. In essence, low progesterone levels disrupts the brain ability to maintain our emotional balance. So don't think sometimes when you explain to folks what's going on with you, this all in your mind. You're sure this is really happening? It is not already all in your mind. It is actually it's something that your body is really um affecting your body in a general sense. Now let's look at the bones, which are significantly affected by hormone changes during menopause. Progesterone plays a crucial role in stimulating osteoblasts, which are the cells responsible for building new bone tissue. Now, when progesterone levels are low, bone regeneration slows down, which tips the balance towards bone loss. Over time, this increases the risk of osteoporosis, which is a condition characterized by weak and brittle bones that are more prone to getting to fractures. Maintaining progesterone levels is vital for long-term bone health, especially during and after menopause, when the risk of bone loss accelerates. Finally, let's discuss the effects of low progesterone on skin and hair. Progesterone contributes to the production of collagen, a protein that keeps skin firm and elastic. When progesterone levels drop, collagen production decreases, leading to thinner, drier skin and the development of what most of us women do not like to see, these fine lines and wrinkles. Women also may notice increased sensitivity or slower healing for cuts and bruises. So I would like to also admit that I use collagen powder. I use it in my smoothies. I use it I mix it in water, and I have some on a regular basis because I know how I started to feel as I'm going through this process. There is an extra dryness on my skin, and it was not feeling as it used to feel a few years ago. So I use collagen powder on a regular basis, along with my regular regime of care for my skin. So it is really helpful. It has really helped me. Now, what I tell a lot of women, it is not an overnight miracle supplement. It takes time because it would vary, collagen levels would vary from person to person, meaning that the amount that decrease in my estrogen levels may not be as much as somebody else, right? So according to what you are going through, you can use the collagen, the powder, and increase foods that are rich in collagen as well. And I use a lot of um, pumpkin seed, sunflower seed, sesame seed. This is my new go-to friends right now that I use along with the collagen powder and increasing a lot of foods that has more collagen in them. So let's look at the hair. Progesterone supports healthy hair by counterbalancing the effects of androgens, which is the male hormone, which can cause hair thinning. When progesterone is low, androgen activity may increase, leading to thinning hair or even hair loss, particularly at the crown of our heads. So these changes in skin and hair can feel like visible reminders of our hormonal shifts that are taking place. There are also signs that the body systems need to be supported. When we were younger, we won't looking at what we were eating and drinking. Many of us were saying, okay, we're young, you have a whole life ahead of you, your body doing all that it's supposed to do. So you weren't even thinking of, putting things in place, looking at menopause and these things. But now as we are actually in it, these things become the forefront because it can actually help us to have a, maintain a healthier life and a healthier quality of life down the road. So, in summary, low progesterone affects key organs in ways that go far beyond reproductive health. It impacts the uterus and ovaries, the brain's emotional and cognitive balance, the strength of our bones, the elasticity of our skin, and it affects our hair. Understanding these effects help us to see how interconnected hormone health is with every part of our body. So I want to give us 10 ways to naturally increase progesterone levels during menopause. So let's go. Let's look at nutrition. Cannot underscore how important nutrition is. Nutrition, which is support our bodies at this time with key nutrients. Certain foods can naturally support your body's ability to produce and balance our hormones. Magnesium-rich foods like spinach, and I want us to, you can write it down, ladies. Spinach, dark chocolate. I use a lot of dark chocolate, the unsweetened type, dark, unsweetened chocolate. My favorite go-to now is pumpkin seeds as well as almonds. Magnesium is essential for hormone production and can also help to improve sleep. Zinc-rich foods. There is also they have shellfish, which I don't particularly it's not I don't particularly use because it's it doesn't really particularly agree with me. Chickpeas and seeds. I use a lot of chickpeas. As I told you all before, I use a lot of seeds. Also, zinc supports ovarian function and progesterone function. I take a zinc supplement as well to help with this because sometimes we take the foods and we're still not getting the body needs so much that we're not getting as much as we would like. So I support a lot of these foods with supplementing. B6, which is found in bananas, potatoes, and poultry. This vitamin is crucial for hormonal regulation, as well as healthy fats. Foods like avocados, nuts, which I eat on a regular basis, seeds, and olive oil produce the building blocks for hormone production, including progesterone. By including these foods in our diet, we are giving our bodies the nutrients it needs to support our hormones naturally. Let's look at herbs and supplements. Certain herbs and supplements are known to support hormonal health. There's chasteberry, which is known as Vitex, a natural herb that helps support the pituitary gland, which regulates progesterone production. Evening primrose oil, which is rich in gamma linoleic acid, otherwise known as GLA. This oil can help alleviate symptoms of hormonal imbalance. We have adaptogens like herbs like ashwagandha and maca root help the body to adapt to stress, which is crucial for maintaining health, healthy progesterone levels at this time. So let me go up a little bit more. Let me see here. Let us look at herbs like ashwagandha, as I was saying, and maca root that can help adapt to help us to adapt to stress, which is crucial for maintaining healthy progesterone levels. Always, I want to interject here, always consult a healthcare provider before starting new supplements, especially if you are on medication or have underlying conditions. Talk to your healthcare provider. 3, reduce stress. Chronic stress is one of the biggest enemies of hormonal balance. When you're stressed, your body produces more cortisol, and cortisol is known as the stress hormone, which directly competes with progesterone production to lower stress. So, what we can do here, what can we do here to help with this issue at this time? Practice relaxational techniques like deep breathing, meditation. Some people use yoga to calm their nervous system. And it is, I use a lot of, well, my form of medication is prayer. I use a lot of deep breathing as well, which helps me a lot in very stressful situations. So let's look at just improve gut health. A healthy gut plays a key role in hormonal metabolism. Anybody ever heard about probiotics? Probiotics like yogurt, kefir, or fermented foods like kimchi and sauerkraut to promote a healthy gut bacteria. I have been looking for kimchi for the longest while, but I'll find it, right? Kimchi and sauerkraut. But I use yogurt on a regular basis. Also, you can add a lot of fiber-rich foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains to support hormone detoxification through the digestive system. A healthy gut helps our bodies to process and to eliminate excess hormones, keeping our gut microbiome very happy and healthy. And it helps to keep our balance in check. What about exercise? How can that help at this time? Let's look at exercise here. Exercising moderately. Exercise here is crucial. Why it is crucial? It is crucial for maintaining hormonal health, but balance is a key. Incorporate strength training exercises to support bone health. Strong bones at this time is very important, and strength training is one of the keys to that, to reaching that goal, and improving also our slowed down metabolism. Combine this with restorative activities like walking, Pilates, yoga to avoid overtraining, which can stress your adrenal glands and lower your progesterone levels. Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate activities most days of the week. So what about sleep? Let's look at sleep here. What can sleep do to our progesterone levels? Quality sleep is essential for maintaining hormonal balance. Strive for getting at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Create a relaxing bedtime routine by avoiding screens. There is a cutoff time for the cell phone to help us have a restful night. So going on your cell phone just before you go to bed, it affects your sleep. So there's a time when they say I have to cut off screen for at least a hour, 2 hours even before sleep as preparation for your night's sleep. Caffeine, decrease caffeine as much as you could, because caffeine, what does caffeine do? We know it keeps us up, right? One of the things it does, and we don't need that at this point in time in the night when we are getting ready for bedtime. So it is a contributor to high progesterone, to the progesterone imbalance at this time. What about heavy meals before bedtime? That is a contributor as well. So, you're going to bed at a certain time, yes, cut off time, at least, around probably about 7 o'clock, you're having something and nothing too heavy during that time, and you cut off and that's it for the night. If you need something else, you probably drink a cup of tea, right? Before bedtime, like something like chamomile tea to help induce sleep and comfort at this time. So let's look. So progesterone plays a role in promoting restful sleep. So prioritizing good sleep hygiene can make a big difference. Avoid endocrine disruptors. Endocrine disruptors are chemicals that interfere with hormonal balance, often mimicking or blocking hormonal function. Minimize exposure by reducing the use of plastics. Opt for glass or stainless steel for food storage. Ladies, I have made that transition with most of my um, cookware, and but I put my food in. So I use glass bowls to store food. I've changed from aluminum to stainless steel to cook with, because all of these things affect us extremely at this time. So these are some of the things we can do to help at this time. Choose organic produce whenever possible to reduce pesticide exposure, because that is a big contributor here. So what I have done, I always encourage a lot of women like myself to start your own garden at home. Those vegetables, and I know you can't have a whole market home by you, but those vegetables that you eat on a regular basis, like the body, grow very quickly and easily. Spinach, pak choy, or what we call pak choy, some people, sweet peppers, hot peppers. These things grow quickly and they grow very easily. So I have done it and I'm telling you, you can do it as well. So this is another way you can reduce some of the pesticides that are on our food when we go to the market to buy. Try and, if you don't have anywhere to grow your food, try to opt for more organic producers, people who use much less or no or natural pesticides on their food. So as to avoid that affecting you in the long run. Avoid synthetic fragrances and harsh cleaning chemicals. A lot of us have become very sensitive at this time to things like strong bleach, cleaning, cleaning, all these cleaning products that they can cause us issues here at this time. So personal care, even some of our personal care products, like our deodorants, skin creams, we at this time we have to look just at about everything that can disrupt our hormonal balance. Being mindful of your environment helps protect our body at this time. The other thing that you can do is use what I've noticed that can help is track our hormonal health. Understanding your body's patterns can help you take charge of your health. Use an app or a journal to track symptoms like mood, sleep, and energy levels. Monitoring your body's signal can help you identify triggers and adjust your habits to help support hormonal balance. So therefore, tracking can also provide valuable insights to share with your healthcare provider. So when your healthcare provider asks you what is going on, you can tell them I've been tracking my symptoms and this is what is going on with me. Finally, consult your healthcare provider. If you're experiencing severe symptoms or need additional support, do not hesitate to seek professional help. So this, ladies, I hope you took some notes here. This is our presentation on progesterone levels, low decreased progesterone levels at this time. So now the floor is open to having any questions thrown to Dr. Khan and myself at this time. Any comments? Any natural solutions anybody has tried at any time that you can share with us? It would be very helpful and insightful.
Elizabeth, is there any point in time the body could overproduce progesterone?
At this point in time, when we are going through this imbalance, I think there are, but I am not 100% sure at this point in time when we're going through this transition, if that may happen. I'm not taking it off the radar, but it is a possibility. But it can't, if it can switch from progesterone being the dominant one, I guess it can happen as well. Because most of the time when we are getting these problems with the progesterone, estrogen levels are the dominant one. Dr. Khan, you would like to put in an insight here with that? I don't know.
Hello, good night.
Good night. Good night, my dear.
Hi, Happy New Year to everybody.
Same to you.
I just wanted to say hello and let you all know that I am still here, and I started exercising, so it kind of overlaps with the meeting that we have.
Okay.
You know, and so I just got the last part, and with me, I have started doing my own. So I make my own hair products. I make my own cream, and I don't really use deodorant anymore. You know, so I've made those changes in terms of like what I use in my hair and stuff, and all that is stuff that I make and I use. I just go up online and look for different stuff.
Okay. So what are some of the things you use for your hair that you can share with us?
I use a lot of oil. So I will go to like Mustafa's and I will get the different oils. I make rosemary oil, olive oil, grapeseed oil, jojoba oil. And I have a thing that I put together and I make that. So that's the oil for my hair. And I use the butter, the shea butter.
Right.
I mix the shea butter with the coconut oil. Sometimes I get to make my own. Well, my husband make the coconut oil, so I'll get coconut oil and some of the same ingredients, some of the same oils, and you mix it together. And if it's for your skin, I'll use a little more of the jojoba oil because it's more for your skin and stuff. And I'll use a little more of that in it. And so I don't always make it the same way each time I make it. I try something new. You know, I use a lot of the when I wash my hair, I use the onion juice, like before I wash my hair. And because you know my hair is natural, so I'll use the onion juice. I use the bentonite clay, and there's a few other clays sometimes. Yeah, the bentonite clay. It cleans your hair and your scalp and all that. I also use apple cider vinegar. So like if you have your hair in a hairdo that you're keeping it for a while, you could use the apple cider vinegar and like give your hair a wash with the apple cider vinegar and stuff like that. And They have a lot of little things you could go up online and look at, and it's really nice to try things,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and make stuff for yourself and stuff. So I don't buy cream and stuff and all those things again. I make my own stuff, and I find it's better on my skin than when I used to use the other stuff, especially when I came into menopause and my skin started to get really dry and itchy. Yeah. So
Okay, thank you
sharing
very
that with you
much.
all.
Very
Yeah.
insightful. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Welcome.
Anybody has any natural ingredients that they use as well for skin
Hello,
and
good
hair?
night.
Good night. Good night.
Yes, good night, good night. How are you?
Good night. I'm fine.
Good information. Good
Thank
information.
you. Thank you. Thank
Um,
you, Gracelyn.
oh, what I use for my skin is just two things. Castor
Mm-hmm.
oil because it's thick and cocoa butter. I mix the two together and that's what I use for
What's the
my
first one
skin.
you called?
Castor oil.
Oh, castor oil and the
Castor
cocoa
oil.
butter. Okay. Have you ever tried anything else
And so,
before you came to use the castor oil and the cocoa butter combination?
well, I used to use thing like just Vaseline and
Okay.
coconut oil.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that one didn't do the job as well as you would have liked.
I like how the castor oil thick and it's deep. It
Mm-hmm.
go deep into your skin. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
like that. So my skin will remain shine for quite a while.
Okay.
For my hair, I
Mm-hmm.
I found this shampoo when I went abroad, but it's just coconut oil, um, and some shea something
Okay.
natural,
Okay.
right? So it's when I wash my hair with it, it remain greasy kind of way now because of the coconut oil in it. But I
So what
also have
kind?
a question,
Mm-hmm.
right? But yeah, I had a question, but what happened? You answered it later down. So
Okay.
I don't think it's relevant right now. But
Okay.
I was thinking that it's a good idea to have for people to prepare themselves before we reach this stage in
That's
terms
right.
of the things that you eat, the natural things and so forth, or like the seeds and all these things. I've been
Yeah.
eating it for quite a while, so it
Mm-hmm.
was easy for me to adapt to certain things.
Okay.
So
Thank you very much.
thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else has a regime that they would like to share with us?
So we got some notes on substitute, sorry, that we can use to it's more like to the natural intakes that we can use to help with the progesterone level. But is there a faster fix? Not saying that we supposed to go that way, but if you should see your general practitioner and she should say to you, okay, your progesterone level is low, will it mean that they will give you something to raise the progesterone level, which we will call more or less a quick fix, and then you will maintain it from there? I don't know if
What you
Dr.
can do, I'll here is talk to your doctor with the use of what we call hormone replacement therapy. And that is a area where they would check your progesterone levels, your estrogen levels, and they would advise you accordingly. So
Right.
hormone replacement therapy is something you can discuss. You look at the side effects of it and see if that is a solution for you. If you're looking for something that may work quick, I cannot say offhand how soon that would balance your hormones.
Okay.
I don't know if Dr. Khan would give me some insight with that here.
Because sorry again. Because why I asked the question is that okay, sometimes we may have a situation where we had a good which we will term a very good pressure, right? But with age, we see the pressure is rising, but at the same time, we know that we are having a good diet or a healthy diet. But for some reason, the pressure would be still escalating. So I sort of aligned that progesterone low level with probably that's one reason why the pressure would escalate. I'm not too sure. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if along with other things too.
Yeah. But what I would like
So
to interject here as well. Remember, it is affected as well when we went through the whole list of stuff. Lack of sleep. If you don't sleep well at night, many times when you take your pressure, right, because of that lack of sleep, your pressure would be higher than usual, than the norm, right? Stress, increased cortisol levels is a contributor as well. So if it's constantly having stress, which we call chronic stress, it would affect your heart rate, it would affect your how your heart functions, thus impacting your pressure levels to become irregular. So what we're looking at is a number of things that can contribute. It's not just one aspect. So sometimes we're doing all the right things physically, and then mentally you're stressed out, and you find that nothing is working because your mind is not at rest. So that can be a big contributor. Sometimes women may be taking these hormone replacement therapy and they're in a stressful situation and they're not at rest in their minds mentally. And we know that the mind is a very, very powerful organ. If it's not comfortable, if it's stressed, it can affect other systems in our system, especially now as our body is extremely in a stress position too with this transition. And so increased stress levels can contribute to that as well, even though we may be doing all the other right things that we know we are supposed to do.
well explained, very well explained. But I don't know. Some women, some of our colleagues right now who are listening, they might say, well, stress is the biggest, is the biggest culprit in between there. So I know that Dr. Khan and Maria has worked very hard with us already to alleviate stress. But for some reason, we always have this extra something that is always coming up. And I mean, the other ladies who are listening now, and if they are gents, with all respect to Dr. Khan, they would agree with me because when we say, okay, we are leaving this behind, things that you can't change, don't bother to even worry about it. Here comes the 22nd and the 23rd of January, and we have some other thing. So, I think most of us, well, I think for me, let me talk about me now. My thing is how to not even introduce that to me. How to just leave it alone. How to not introduce it to me. I don't want it because it doesn't do me too well at all. And I'm speaking about me.
Okay, I understand. Dr. Khan, you want to interject here? Anything?
So, hi everyone. Good evening. I'm going to answer one of the questions was asked earlier about progesterone during menopause. It doesn't spike at all. It just declines over time. right? The only hormone that goes up is your follicle stimulating hormone, and it's because of the decrease in progesterone. And that, but that doesn't cause a re-emergence of the progesterone, right? Um, as in high blood pressure, because of the drop in the hormones that you're having, you're going to see a change in your blood pressure. Remember, you're also aging. So your arteries and veins are getting a little bit stiffer. So that can cause a change in pressure, right? Um, so, so blood pressure will fluctuate based on age, based on changing in hormones. All those things will affect your blood pressure. And it can, if you are hypertensive, it can cause it to go up a little higher, right? Stress. There's always stress. Everybody has stress in their life. There's good stress and there's bad stress. The thing about stress is how you manage it. And that is the key element of stress. Sorry, I have a little singer behind me. So the idea is to really, things are going to come into your life that can be stressful, and they're always going to happen, right? And it's really about learning to navigate those situations in a way that's beneficial to you. For those, I have some minor techniques I use that you can use every day, which is breathing, right? When things are getting overwhelming, take 3 deep breaths, right? Next one is go for a walk, go for some exercise, right? Get into nature, just go stand outside in the sun. All of those things are great stress relievers, right? So there are techniques you can use in any stressful situation to relieve stress and then manage the situations a little better. If it's getting overwhelming, it's okay to say no and walk away, right? And you can do it in a very nice way. Say, hey, I just can't. Do you mind if we revisit this at a later date, and you can come back to it at a later time? Or you say simply, hey, at this moment, I'm not in the mind space to manage this. Do you mind if we discuss this at a later point? There's very strategic ways you can use to manage stress, right? And I suggest, it's I mean, stress is both good and bad. And stress is what we humans thrive on, right? This is how we get stronger, we get better, right? So, um, first thing is, don't be overwhelmed when stress enters your life, right? There's always fun things you can do to overcome it. And we live in a beautiful part of the world where it's easy to find those fun things. Stepping out under a tree. Just today, the breeze was blowing so hard. Go and stand up in the breeze, right? So those are some minor techniques you can use to manage stress on a daily basis. And once you're managing it on a daily basis, you see over time, it becomes much easier to just slip into a state where you're good. And I hope that helps.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I know we're running a little late tonight, so we've gone over a bit. So we're gonna close off now for Q&A. If anybody has any more questions you want to ask, please WhatsApp us, post it in the YouTube channel. We will try to address them in the future meetings coming up. I'll let Maria close off in a second, but before she does, we have a couple of announcements in the community. We are going to start doing some challenges that you can sign up for from next week. Not from next week, for the second week in February, we're starting our challenges. I was going to ask the community here, what challenge would you prefer? Would you prefer to do hair care, skin care, or both as a 5-day challenge? If it's hair care, give me a thumbs up.
I would say hair care.
Okay.
Both?
Both?
Okay.
Okay. Well, okay, we'll do a hair care, skin care challenge, a 5-day hair care, skin care challenge. Second week in February, look out for the announcements. We'll announce it next week again in the next session we do. right? And it's going to be, we're going to build a channel for you to join in. The second thing we have coming, the second exciting thing we have coming up is we're going to start doing some retreats, right? So the first 3-day retreat we're going to plan is in May. We'll announce the dates a little later, right? It's 3 days of fun, sun, and menopause healing. So 3 days, you come with us, and we're gonna pack the days with some awesome things like massages and some other things to help you with the menopause healing. 3 days of you to get as a getaway, to get into the state of mind and get into a position where you feel much better about your menopause journey. So we look forward to bringing it to you guys, to you ladies, and the first retreat will be, we're looking at May. And we'll announce the dates in May when it's ready, and everything will be up and running. Right? That's it for me. You ladies have a wonderful evening. Maria, close us off, and I will see you next week.
So I just want to say thanks for everyone who came on the channel and supported us tonight. Again, everybody, I'm very thankful, and these topics are very important so that we could understand basically why we behave, our bodies behave the way they do at this point in time. So thank you very much for your support, everybody that is here tonight. And what I would like to say again, if we can invite a friend, each one invite one, it would really be helpful to us so that we could reach more women who are going through this transition. And it can be very a lonely time because a lot of women feel that they cannot talk about these things with anyone. So this is the forum for it. So share the knowledge, ladies, share the knowledge so that we can be helping somebody who really would need the extra support as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night, all.
Thank you.